Uh, I was just watching my break of the lactation cycle and the menstrual cycle and whatnot. Which this is gonna sound really bad, but it's just daily whatnots and whatnots. Cause most of you here, I can't say that specifically because I don't personally know. But from my understanding of society, most of you hear lactation and they're like it. Or for the moms, you're like, oh, I need better breast milk. Or for the dads, you're like, oh, I hope my baby has enough lactation. To the ones that use uh, the chemical stuff, I feel sorry for you. That was put into place before Trump and his administration to break down the chemical cells in the body and to make your babies weak. So the formulas and whatnot, they're horrible. They're worse than poison, not gonna lie. Though, I mean, there are poisons, so what's worse than poison? Other than it kills over a long period of time instead of immediately. So I guess there's the benefit of that. That would be that would be abortion. And y'all know how I feel about that. I'm against it 100%, except under certain circumstances of extreme duress. You know? So think what you want on that. And extreme duress is different in different situations and whatnot. Who are you talking to? Eddie said send him some spoken word. Yo, what's good, bro? Tell Cuts I can't send to his channel anymore, man. They made it so you had to sign up to a website and whatnot, and I signed up and then it cut me off, so I gave up trying and I saw that as a sign of I am pro Trump, thank you very much. But yeah, I tried to send Eddie some music and whatnot, but it didn't work. Yeah, it is kind of difficult. That yeah. Ninja Man in the blue ninja suit. I don't know. I don't know where you're headed with that one, but I'm curious because where I was headed with my conversation, the implications are interesting. So, at any rate, I support President Trump. And let me tell you why. One, well, okay, it has a whole lot to do with a whole lot. But one is because I know the history of history. If you know the history of history, you would understand where I'm coming from. The history of the history of the history of the history inside the history that is coming off in a quadratic equation of the multifactional cells that created up the very cellular structure of the society that exists inside of us all. And then it comes out into a multidimensional big bang that is creating a singularity inside of the system that is what you think is reality, but at the same time is not. And so I recommend, and this is what I'm doing. I'm trusting President Trump and his administration because I know what came before him and I know what was supposed to be there instead of him. And I know what he's doing to help the people. And I'm talking welfare down to homeless and up to rich and across the global spectrum and the whole universe and the every single element of everybody's lives. I'm telling you, man, I know some crazy stuff. All right, so crazy how my pops is pro-Trump, but he had to quit his job to get health insurance to get a surgery. I feel that, but unfortunately, that's the status that was in play from Big Pharma from the Democrats. And I can't even say what's his name and what's her name because last uh, presidential candidates are just a minuscule version of the grand scheme of things. So I don't even like saying their names. What we're gonna say is far left controlled the big pharma that controlled the insurance companies. Well, okay. If we're gonna go into this from top to bottom, we got to go into this from top to bottom. All right, so we got the far left. Okay. A goof. Who's not a goof? You a goof? You you ever been somebody in charge of global economics and geopolitical stances inside of a manufactured system that could literally control and destroy the world in a singular second? I don't think you have. So, unless you have, unprofessional and professional is a state of mind. And unless you've been in that situation, I don't think you know what the professional state of a mind. And that's fair. I'm gonna read this so that everybody sees what I'm talking. Okay, so the loudest one in the room is usually the softest in my experience. I appreciate that. I really, really do. Because you're 100% right. The quiet kid that sits in the corner until he gets beat to the point where he has to act out is the problem with society. That is where you get the. Nah, I wouldn't say the transgender shooters. Those are the middle ground. Those are the ones that are weak. The ones that are backed into the corner have put up with so many beatings that they are to the point of self destruction before hurting somebody. The ones in the middle ground are the ones that are like the transgenders that shot Charlie Kirk because they decided that it was just part of their psyche to take out the enemy. And that is a middle ground because you have to be a weak son of a in order to take out the opposition on a ground that is not fundamentally grounded in what you want in society. And so transgenderism was freedom of expression. And Charlie Kirk spoke that 100%. And they still shot him, you know what I'm saying? So that is not. We know our country can't be fucked with, and you never show your hand until it's that's 100%. That's 100%. And that's where I respect Trump and Mr. Hegseth and the whole team, really. You know, if we really want to get into it, yeah. But yeah, prayers to the ones that have to make the decisions and the ones that have to act out those decisions. You know what I'm saying? Because there's many sides to every story and many wars in every battle. And every battle has a war inside of itself. You got to think about it. How many people are in a battle? Okay, so if you think about a war, it's a whole country or it's a minuscule segment of a country, whatever. Look at Ukraine, for instance. Okay, I don't like to bring up stuff that's going on and whatnot in certain circumstances because of circumstantial situations. But you got to think about it this way: Ukraine is a country that would be like Texas in America. Okay. About the same size, about the same population. Maybe not the same size, but the same population. And think about uh, Mexico taking over Texas instead of Russia taking over Ukraine. And the United States in the old and the old representatives, the far left, were forking the money to kill themselves. And now that we got it back stabilized, we can get back to rehabilitation. That's about that, you know what I'm saying? Uh, okay, so we'll go a little bit deeper. We'll go a little bit deeper. So Ukraine is wait. Aye. So we know Ukraine is in the middle between America and Russia. And we know that the left administration before this administration did not necessarily have the same mind frame that Mr. Trump and his administration for the betterment of America had. So that would put Ukraine in a tricky situation of what now is trying to save them and what then was trying to sell them out. So I would put that in reference point to the border because Trump, I apologize. No, I don't apologize. If y'all don't like Trump, you can not listen or you can listen. That's your call. I'm trying to be civil with everybody, taking into account different gods and different universes and different time frames and different sociological, economical standpoints in order to reach the masses. Because here's the crazy thing, okay, is that the shepherd with the knowledge is judged more than the sheep that follows the shepherd. I believe that's in every spiritual textbook. The more knowledge you have, I mean, it's even Spider-Man, you know, with Uncle Ben. With great power comes great responsibility. In the Bible, it would be a shepherd does not leave his sheep behind. And in his last days, his judgment will be harsher depending on what he knows. And that's paraphrasing because I don't like to focus on actual I don't know. No, that's a whole conundrum of a conundrum. But at any point, the shepherd, the one who knows more, is judged more than the one who knows less. That is why childlike faith, the innocence of childlike mustard seed faith in God, saves his people. Because that means that you're the innocent. You're the ones that may have been through pain, but you put enough faith in God with that 0.1% of your soul that God is everything to you. And you're going to follow blindly. And you have your own relationship with God. You don't need somebody to tell you who your relationship is with God. And that's amazing. So amazing. But then you have to look at the preachers and whatnot who have that same faith. They just have to deal with thousands and millions and however many people, two people, even if it's two people that reach his understanding. He's responsible for every connection. Okay. Hold on. We gotta go into this. We gotta go into this. Okay, so you know what Amway is, the pyramid schemes and whatnot, which are not actual pyramid schemes. If you look into it, what it was the sociological standards and economical foundations of McDonald's and whatnot put into practical form into a gravitational form that would have been a universal experience. And then it was turned into a negative thing so that nobody would be able to prosper from it. So that was the devil taking what was meant for good into evil, and what was meant for evil into good, and evil into good, and good into bad, and all that good jazz. So that is besides the point at that point. So then we get into the pyramid schemes, and it's like health. Okay, so let's say you go outside and you're the main pyramid. Okay, you're the main pyramid. Think of yourself as the main pyramid. If you want, I can get into pyramids because okay. Do you know what the top of the pyramid was? It was the centrifuge to put the portals into the spaceships and whatnot. So, okay, so send the souls into extraterrestrial. Um, it's like Thor with the bridge. Yeah, that's what the pyramids are. I lost track of where I was going. So I'm gonna let that go. Oh, pyramid schemes. Pyramid schemes. I'm still gonna let it go for now. I'm gonna let that resonate in my mind and yours. And then we can possibly, I'll imagine I'll be back. But if not, I apologize. And we'll see each other later. Have a good night. Love you. Oh, I almost forgot the whole point until Ninja, what's or not, and what's his name. So I was watching Miss Kai and Miss Emma on the Air Force One and whatnot, and they were playing childish. They were being childish, but I mean, what do you expect? Have you ever been stuck in a box for so long all the time? I mean, like for real. Okay, have you ever been on a train for 8 hours? What do you do in the box seat? You make conversation. You sleep. You do what you do. Now imagine that times all day, every day, with a couple hours in between. But in the couple hours in between, you're in social situations. So you start to get stir crazy and start to play game. And not saying they're stir crazy, not saying they're stir crazy. But you start to play fun. Okay, where do you think games came from? Okay, the hat in the card in the hat. Okay, how many people have tossed cards into a hat, or is that just 90s? Okay, and you can even make it better. You can play poker. Okay, you can have a 5 to 7 card hand, and you get to throw your hand. You get to throw. They throw their card. You throw your card. They throw their card. You throw your. And then by the end of the hand, you win. You're all out of hands, and you're down to whatnot and whatnot. I didn't figure it out. This is coming off the top of my brain. This is just a theoretical vision of a game that could possibly be played in a confined situation where two friends are nonstop together. So you have to come up with crazy ish in order to not go insane and hate each other. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. For all those who know, you know. But yeah. So then we got the 7 card draw. And you get to toss 3 cards in. So you toss, I toss, you toss, I toss, you toss, I toss. And then we take the cards out in order in which they landed. So it goes every other, because not every card is going to land. Now we'll have to recalibrate that, because chances are they will land on each other. I don't know. I'm working on that. But it's a theory and process, you know. Let's see here. Chess. That was where I was headed. Was chess. I think Miss Kai and Miss Emma should play chess because it's fun to learn. It takes time, it takes concentration. It builds the structure of soul. And you don't have to stick with it, you know. You can get up and move away and the pieces are still there the next time you come back. So it'd be perfect on that spectrum, you know what I'm saying? And for me bringing up Miss Kai and Miss Emma, and Air Force One, salute to the Secret Service fellas. Nothing but respect, gentlemen. And Mr. Trump, love, sir. Uh, I have nothing but love for you, sir. For- So we'll get off this for a minute and watch Mr. Nicky Gracious. He's one of my favorite underground. I don't know if he's underground, but he's a good Christian rapper. Nicky Gracious. You know, should look him up. Love you.